Welcome students. Today we will talk about language, particularly English language. But before coming to the point, we are supposed to understand the basics of language in general, its definitions, its different aspects, its different varieties. And I hope this session will be helpful for all the students of English language pursuing their undergraduate or postgraduate studies. So, uh, first of all, we should try to define language. How a language can be defined. What is the general definition of language I am talking about? Uh, so, we can say it is a set of rules that enables us to communicate ourselves within a community, and there must be an element of intelligibility. These set of rules are traditionally established and they are arbitrarily established as well. So the complete practical definition of a language is it is an arbitrarily traditionally established set of rules that enable us to communicate ourselves intelligibly within a particular community. Here we have certain keywords: arbitrary, second, tradition. Again, we have set of rules, and intelligibility. Language must be intelligible. And community. Let us explain these keywords. Arbitrary means in the beginning, when any particular language evolves, there would not have been any rules or regulation on which they based their language, the evolution of language. It evolved arbitrarily according to the convenience of the people, according to the convenience of the member of a particular community. So, this is arbitrary. Here you can understand this term better with an example, that if you are asked why you call a chair in English, or in Hindi in your mother tongue, why you call that kursi. So you cannot explain that properly. You call that particular object with that particular name only because you have heard it from your parents and they have heard it from their parents. So it is arbitrarily established. There is no proper explanation for all the words. They would not have been established following any rule or regulations. Similarly, this term is tradition is also related to arbitrariness. We call a chair. We recognize that object by a particular name according to our cultural circumstances only because we have heard that name traditionally. We have heard that name from our previous generation and they have heard it from previous generation, from their previous generation. So every rule, every name of an object has been traditionally established. Again, we follow a set of rules while communicating ourselves. We give certain names to certain objects and we arrange our thoughts in a particular sequence of words so that it can be communicated effectively in an organized way. So these are set of rules. In English, we have a particular sequence called SVO. In Hindi, we have SOV. subject, verb, object, subject, object, verb. And these communication, whatever we want to transmit to other, must be intelligible. Means there must be an element of mutual understandability. Means what you are talking about must be intelligible to the person listening to you. He must be able to comprehend your message. He must be able to decode your message. You transmit, suppose A transmits message and B is not able to understand that. The purpose of the language is frustrated there. So intelligibility is an essential component of a language. And community. By community, here we refer to a language community. Means we suppose that all the members of that community can speak and understand the language that the other members of that community speak. So here it refers to a group of people who can understand a language. So it is about language community. I think you have understood the keywords of definition of language. Now, in this continuity, we are supposed to understand different components of language. Whatever comes to your mind, it is a substance, and that substance must be arranged in a particular way. Means a set of rules must be followed, and then that message, that substance becomes meaningful. So these are different components of a language. So we have substance, and that substance is supposed to be arranged in a particular form or a structure, and that structure should be meaningful. So substance can be communicated either phonetically or graphically. Phonetically means speech sound, and graphically means written words. So this forms the substance of a language. And in form, when we arrange the substance in a particular structure, we follow two kinds of structure. First, grammatical, and then lexical. Grammatical refers to the arrangement of words in a sentence, and lexical refers to the formation of word. You can say this is word grammar. Both these elements refer to syntactic component of a language, and meaning refers to semantic component. Thus, we have these levels where can we base our analysis of a particular language. It means if you want to analyze a language scientifically, you have three levels. This is called level of linguistic analysis. So you can understand, you can have a brief idea of what are the components of language. So this is all that we need to know. Then if you give a thought to the word called language, you will notice that this is only a general name, and language, one single language may vary in different situations, and this phenomenon, this variation, you can notice in your everyday speech as well. For example, a native speaker of Hindi living in Bihar will speak differently from a Hindi speaker living in Delhi. Of course, both those speakers will write the same language. So, the written language is called standard language, literary language. There is little scope for variation. But in spoken language, on different basis, on geographical line, on social line, you can notice variations. And these variations are called dialect. You can have different dialects of a single language, and those dialects can vary along geographical or social lines. For example, I have just given the example of a person living in Bihar and a person living in Delhi speaking the same language. And similarly, you can notice, you must have heard about Cockney English. That is a dialect of English spoken by uneducated people in London. And in the same region, the educated people speak English slightly different, in a slight different way. And these things have been noticed in G.B. Shaw's famous drama Pygmalion as well. So the variation along geographical or social line may be called dialect. There may be other variations as well. You can also notice that two individuals do not speak necessarily in the same way, and this individual variation is called idiolect. Every individual speaks in his own idiosyncratic way. So this gives birth to another nomenclature, idiolect. Again, a single person, suppose you take yourself for example, speak differently in different circumstances. You don't speak to your mother the way you speak to your teacher. You don't speak to your friend the way you speak to your father. So your speech, your selection of words, your way of speaking varies in accordance with the circumstances, in accordance with the situation, formal or casual. So this variation is called register. This circumstantial variation may also include different games. You can notice the different implications of words used in cricket commentary, sports commentary. The word on and off, the word cover give different meanings in the context of cricket. So these are register of cricket, you can say. So here you can notice the circumstantial variation. Dialect is geographical or social variation. And idiolect is individual variation. Similarly, there may be changes in your style while expressing yourself. It is closely related to register, but it also involves the tone of your speech. This is called style. You may speak rudely, you may speak in a casual and very intimate way. So this is called style. And generally, while analyzing a literary piece, we use this term very frequently because the tone of the writer, the note, the sentiment, the emotion involved are all become more apparent with the recognition of this term, style. In what style he has expressed himself. A particular speaker or writer has expressed himself. So these are different variations of language. Let's come to this phenomenon, dialect, once again, because there may be situation where different dialects or different languages may coexist. These situations may be presented on map as well. So, a line demarcating a particular dialect from another dialect or another language is called isogloss. There may be also a situation where different languages coexist with each other. So, such situation is called language contact situation. Language contact situation. In such situation, we may generally notice bilingual or multilingual speakers. This is so because there the speaker of the native speaker of a particular language gets the opportunity to communicate with the speakers of other languages, and in this course he learns other language as well and becomes able to make effective use of another language apart from his mother tongue, his native language. So this phenomenon is called bilingualism. If the number of languages he is able to speak increases, that will be called multilingualism. So in language contact situation, we have the phenomenon of bilingualism or multilingualism. You should know this as well. Next, in such situation where different languages coexist, means in language contact situation, sometimes uneducated people, for the sake of their convenience, mix different languages, and in this way a new kind of language evolves, and that language is used by uneducated people, particularly hawkers, porters, and that language is called pidgin. Here I am talking about a mixture language, but you should not see this language pejoratively in a denigrating way, because as long as a language serves the purpose of intelligibility, that should not be seen in a pejorative way. This is the basic principle of language study. And due to different linguistic and social causes, socio-political causes, this pidgin may be raised up in status and becomes an official language of a geographical area or a institutional territory, you can say. So this is called Creole. Pidgin becomes Creole when it is recognized as an official language. You can take, for example, the languages of Haiti, Mauritius, Melanesia, Fiji, Mauritius I have mentioned. All these the languages spoken there are the example of Creole. So we have these different varieties of languages, and now we will proceed in our subsequent lectures to the evolution of language, how the language evolved and how English language evolved particularly, and then in the subsequent lectures we will study the different milestones in the course of development of English language. In this course, you will notice that today there are so many languages, thousands of languages, and an estimate shows that there are around 9,000 languages with different dialects spoken across the world. But in the beginning of civilization, when human beings learned to speak and write, there must have been one source, one single source. From that source, all these languages would have evolved in the course of time. So we will see all these processes, how the languages evolved, how they separated from one another, and how there are so much variations in the sound system of different languages, why these variations, and if they belong to one single source, why these differences. So all these things will be discussed in our subsequent lectures. Till then, enjoy your study. Thank you. If you like the video, just subscribe the channel. Thank you.